And we are back, and we just finished watching 2011's The Raid, also known as The Raid Redemption. It is rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 41 minutes. We caught this on Netflix, and it is written and directed by Gareth Evans, who, damn you for not doing a third. This is the story of a SWAT team that gets sent to take down a ruthless drug lord in this heavily fortified fortress of a building. It's funny watching this. I know Judge Dredd, the Carl Urban one, came out after that, but it had shades of that to me, right?
Well, I remember when Judge Dredd, the Carl Urban one, came out, people were like, "Oh, this is just a ripoff of The Raid." And
it's not.
I
mean,
but
that aspect of it is similar.
That's where I first heard of The Raid.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, what is that? And then
we've been ruined
I forgot how we saw it the first time. But
I think we caught it like on Showtime or something. It was like on one of the cable channels. And we were like, where has this movie been all our lives?
Yeah, because I think I saw it first by myself. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, you need to see this. Because it's like, this is, without a doubt, this is the bar by which all other
action movies,
karate, martial art movies needs to be judged, because
this is a masterclass.
It's amazing.
Yeah. In the fight sequences and also just really tight, tense storytelling. I mean, you're heavily invested in these characters, especially Rama.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt terrible for Jaka, but Rama, you really get a sense. I mean, you start the story with Rama and you sort of end the story with Rama.
Yeah, I mean, he's like the main protagonist. He's the guy that you see. You know, there's like real stakes for him. I mean, there's stakes for everybody, obviously, because you just assume they have lives, but you actually see Rama's life.
Right.
And the fact that he's doing this, and he really shouldn't. Yeah. Considering what's going on, but then you find out that there's other reasons for him being there as well. Right. Yeah. And it's just, oh my God. Yeah. As far as like tension and stuff, just everything leading up to infiltrating the building, and then from the moment where it just goes wrong.
Yeah. It goes horribly wrong really fast. Yeah. It is. I mean, this is a movie that doesn't rely very much on dialogue. It is mostly the MVP of this film is the fight sequences and the fight choreography. That is front and center, and
they filmed it all so well.
Well, just like gorgeous.
Like the frenetic, just
craziness,
intensity of what these guys are doing to be captured so clearly, and just
Michael Bay, take notes.
Everything is angled in a way where every move, every punch, every kick, every elbow strike, knee strike, knife wound, it's filmed in such a way that it's just like, it's so fast that you're just like, oh, ow, oh.
Yeah. And when people's bodies, whether their backs are like hit on concrete or just, it just
filing
like
cabinets.
Filing cabinets, you feel it. You feel it. I know, as somebody who wakes up with back pain in the mornings, I'm like, every time I see something like that.
Well, I mean, they definitely benefited from where they filmed, because I doubt there's any sort of OSHA over there. It's just whatever. Yeah. You want to be in movies, right? Here's $100 and a donut, and we want you to just bend your spine over that filing cabinet as violently as you possibly can.
I'm going to go around the table and get impressions. I'm going to start with you, Gigi. What did you think of the film?
This film's great.
It is.
I love it.
You'd seen the second one first, so I don't know if it spoils it for you, but what did you think of the story? I mean, we could give away spoilers. I mean, this movie is over 10 years old.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I thought everything about this film was great, including the story. Like, nothing dragged, and like sometimes like we'd gone like halfway through the movie before I realized that we'd gone like halfway through the movie. It went by really, really fast.
Yeah, it did. It did. Did you anticipate the big reveal towards the end?
What reveal?
That Rama and Andy are related.
It was spoiled for me.
Oh, whoops. But would you, if it hadn't been spoiled for you, would you have thought that that was the big
No,
reveal?
that was a good surprise.
Good. What did you think of, what was that old coot's name? I don't remember. Wayu? Was that it?
The white-haired guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wayu.
Okay, what did you think of him?
I was glad. I wanted him to shoot himself, but he was all out of bullets, so.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll get his in jail. I'm sure he will. Although, do dirty cops ever get anything?
If they go to jail, yeah. They don't have a pleasant time there.
Yeah, but
a dirty cop is a dirty cop, no?
You don't see anything of him again in the second one, right?
No, you don't.
No.
But he shot, what was it, Dagu?
Yeah.
So he killed that guy.
But he killed that other cop, but Dagu didn't really have much of a backstory. It was just
he didn't. He
was like the third.
But he made it further.
He made it further than pretty much anybody.
Most people.
He put up a good fight in that drug room scene too.
Yeah.
He was right in there.
Yeah. The fight choreography really makes this film. It is almost like front and center. I mean,
this film would be totally different if it was just like old
'em
style American knocking the jaw and the guy flies through a table and that's the end of him. This was brutal. I mean, there's machetes and knives.
Yes.
That one with the door frame was just crazy.
Yeah. I know. And it's funny because we've seen this movie previously, but whenever we see that, we're just like, ooh, we still flinch. Yes, absolutely. Olive G, I'm going to go to you now. What did you think of the Raid Redemption?
It was good.
Yeah, what'd you like about it?
Fighting.
Yeah. Did you really like it, or are you just saying that because you think that's what I want to hear? You can have an opinion about this. You don't. I'm just saying.
Where's there? We know you get a little squeamish. Was there any part where you were just like, I can't see this?
I think I saw her. I think I saw her lift up the shawl to her face a couple of times.
Was there any times you just wanted to hide your face?
I'm trying to remember.
I forgot.
But were there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when Andy gets his hand.
Oh, and with the knife through the hand.
Yeah, I don't think she was. I don't think she wanted to see that. And then also when Jaka gets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because you're rooting for Jaka, and he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy, but he's going up against Mad Dog, who we must speak of.
Oh my god,
Mad Dog is amazing.
Mad Dog is. I mean, I'm glad that Gareth brought him back in the second one. I mean, obviously under a different character name, but just amazing for a little guy. He put up quite the fight. Quite the fight.
Yes.
And it's funny because he's like this little thing, right?
He's shorter than everybody else.
He's shorter than everybody.
And he looks like he's on the older side.
He looks like he's on the older side, and he's wispy. He's not like
muscled in the slightest.
No, his clothes are hanging off of him. He's filthy.
Yeah.
But he is just like, and
a
like
mad dog.
Exactly. That little speech he gives. He's like, I don't like doing this. You pull the trigger, it's like ordering takeout.
That's a great line.
He's like, but this, and he just shows his hands.
Yeah.
And that's what he wants. He just wants to fight. And like at the end, when he goes up against the brothers,
Rama
it's hilarious because he frees them and then he's just like, he like waves his hand. He's like, make a little bit of room for me. We're going to start now. And then it's just like, just screaming.
And he put up such a good fight. He was fighting
really
even after the thing. Like, what the hell?
He was like this close to winning. Beating up two guys.
He might have won if things had been different.
Yeah, I agree. You've already said how much you enjoy the movie. When we talk about violence in movies, I think this is an exceptional example of that, but not in a bad way. I think, again, the piece de resistance here is the choreography, the fighting, just the tension in the storytelling, because you want Rama to make it to the end of the day. You want him to go home to his pregnant wife. You want him to see his dad and say, you know what, Andy's okay. Mm-hmm. How do you think? What am I trying to ask you? How do you think the violence in this movie holds up in contrast to other films, not necessarily, not even like versus Raid 2, but just other action films? And then the second question is there, in what instances do you think that violence doesn't really add to a story?
So what was the first question? You took so long to ask the second question. I totally forgot your
So
first
how,
question.
in comparison to other action movies or even martial arts movies, how would you compare Raid Redemption?
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know if anything has really come close to it. I mean, there have been some movies where I was like, you know what, that the sequences in that were really good or whatnot, but this really like blew away all my expectations, because I had seen action movies before this and was satisfied and pleasantly surprised, but this was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the fight sequence in these movies, and like I said, it's not just the choreography, it's the way it's filmed, because they kept the fact that the camera was shaky, but not overly so, where you lose focus of everything.
And it sort of followed their movements.
It followed their movements. Like the camera was definitely part of the choreography in this.
Yes.
Whereas some movies you'll see, and it'll be like amazing fight choreography, but the camera is stationary. It's not moving. Everybody's like hitting their marks, and it looks amazing. Like if you look at a Jackie Chan movie, you'll see, okay, well, here's the ladder. Here's the 16 guys surrounding him. He's gonna hit A, B, C, D all the way through X, and it's gonna look great. And we're gonna do it in one shot, and that's amazing in itself.
Yes. Yes.
But this, because the camera is like in there and moving, and like I said, it's not stationary. It's got a little bit of sway and bounce to it, and it's part of that choreography. I think it just pulls you in a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
And another thing about this is sometimes you'll watch an action movie. It's got great fight sequences, but the story is just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
This had a really good, tight story. There was a reason for Rama to be there. There was a reason for Wayu to set this whole thing up, because he thought he was going to come out better at the end. It all worked. Everybody's character, the primary hero characters, you realize that you didn't have to like shoehorn some sort of plot twist in it for it to make any kind of sense. Jaka made sense. Rama made sense. Tama, all of them. And it just worked so well. And it's not the most complex story in the world.
No, it's very simple.
It's very simple. It's sort of like it reminds me of Fury Road. Fury Road,
another movie.
Such a simple story, but so well told, and the action in it is so well done.
Yeah.
That you're just like sucked in. You're along for the ride. You're part of it.
Yeah.
And some action movies, they'll do that better than others, but this was, as far as like a martial arts fight choreography type movie, this really nailed it. This
definitely
really
sets
nailed
the
it,
bar.
and I feel like not everything that's come out since, but some things that have come out since have tried to emulate it as far as the style and what's going on. But this is still so good, and the only thing that may have surpassed it would be Raid 2.
Yeah.
Which is
Also
so
just a thrill ride.
amazing. That kitchen fight scene.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah.
Everything, the baseball bat girl or baseball bat guy and Hammer Girl.
Yeah.
That fight scene.
Yeah.
The prison yard fight scene.
Oh,
the
at the
bathroom
beginning.
fight
Yeah.
scene.
They're all just, it's just
crazy.
so much. Yeah. Yeah.
You think you'd get sick of it, but it's just like, if it's really well done, you don't become like anesthetized where you're just like, okay, let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
And there, like I said, there have been stuff that's come out that have like really been influenced this, I would say, like the John Wick movies.
You know, it's funny that you bring that up, because I was going to ask you to compare. Do you like some, so the beauty of this film is that you have the two elements. You have the shoot 'em up, but you also have the fight choreography, like hand-to-hand combat kind of thing. in John Wick, you have both as well. I think they rely a little bit more on guns in those films, which is fine.
Yeah, he's like dispatching
people,
losers or the sub guys with the guns.
With the guns more than anything. But he does get into fights with them as well. Not as much as, obviously, Rama in this thing. So it's nice to see a movie kind of blend the two. But I agree with you. I think the thing that makes it exceptional is the hand-to-hand, because you do want to see that. I mean, kind of like what Mad Dog says. It's sort of like calling for takeout, right? But there's something just fascinating about people beating each other with their hands and feet. I mean, I've always said that. I'm completely drawn in, even as a young person watching Shaw Brother movies on Saturday mornings.
But like even like with like Shaw Brothers, there's like a lot of wire work
Sure.
and the sound of
Yeah. Was it you that told me they were so upset?
I was, yes, as a child I was crushed that no matter how fast I moved my hand, it
didn't
never
make those noises.
The noise from a kung fu movie. But I accepted it.
One of life's little disappointments.
But like this was, I don't know if there was much wire work going on.
No.
I think it was a lot of just punching, angling the camera in the way so that it looked so devastating. I mean, these guys must have practiced a lot to
be able to
not hurt each other.
Yeah.
And I'm betting they were successful maybe 70% of the time.
Yeah, I was going to say most of the time, but not all the time.
I'm betting a lot of those guys went home with maybe
injuries,
less teeth.
Yeah, at least
possible broken or dislocated arm.
Yeah, and even like the fight sequence in the hallway with the knife, where Rama's just like tearing tendons. Oof.
When that one especially, he like puts it in his upper thigh and just drags it down to his knee. Oh, that guy. I felt so bad for that guy.
He shouldn't have messed with Rama though.
No. And then there's one where he like goes right in the knee, and then he sort of like pulls the knife in like a counterclockwise direction before he yanks it out. So it's just like pop. It's like that guy's never gonna walk again.
Yeah. All the tendons in his leg are done. Yeah. If he doesn't bleed out first. Because I doubt anybody was getting medical attention. Yeah,
there wasn't like when like the upper gang shows. I think they were just putting people out of their misery. that guy, that crazy bug-eyed guy with the machete.
Oh my God,
I forgot what his name was, but he just looked terrible. He was terrifying, chopping people.
Yeah,
I forgot the second part of your question now.
Oh, the second part of my question was, obviously, the violence in this propels the story. Are there instances, I'm sure there are, I can't think of anything right now, where it might be a little too much, but
you know what?
It works here, obviously.
Here it works, yeah. I mean, yeah, there are times when it's just sort of like, yeah, we got like a half hour left. It's just going to be nonstop fight scene, and it's just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Well,
I think I saw... Some people like they try and it's like, you know what, to make up for the lack of story, we're just going to try and be as cool as possible. Mm-hmm. And there's one thing that like recently, which I guess gets memed a lot. There was this it was like some sort of Resident Evil 3D animated movie.
Oh, okay.
Where these two guys are fighting on a rooftop, and they're about as close as we are right now, with guns, shooting guns at each other, missing like every shot. They're like spinning around each other and doing like pirouettes and rotating in the air, shooting nonstop. Their guns never run out of ammunition. Mm-hmm. But it's like, oh yeah, that's, I guess, cool and whatnot. But it's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's incredibly stupid. So yeah, you can definitely go too far. You could try. I mean, that's animated, so you're able. But like,
well, I was thinking. Did you and I have this conversation recently? I didn't see The Passion of the Christ, but you did. And were we talking about like the excessiveness of that? Were you and I talking?
We
about
did,
that?
but no. But that served that that served the purpose of the story.
But because that's a long movie too, right? That's like a 2 hour plus movie.
But there's a lot, like, there were those moments in that movie, and they were very intense and very graphic. But that served the purpose. I mean, you're supposed to be witnessing this man being brutally tortured. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I don't think that was, like, over the top.
No?
I mean, it served its purpose. Like, if you want to really show suffering, show suffering. Mm-hmm. It's not like... That's totally different. That's... Like an action movie, you want the over-the-top end for the bad guy.
Sure. Live and let die.
Live and let die. or True Lies, that guy tied to the missile and fired through the building at a helicopter. Yeah. That was great.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard when that happened.
Yeah.
And that's gratuitous, but it also serves its purpose.
But that's like so over the top that it's like not even believable. You know what I mean? And it's like you sort of have that separation, whereas I think...
Well, you're not going to do that for a movie like Passion of the Christ because you want it to be as realistic as possible. Mm-hmm. And that's the sort of thing they were doing to each other back then.
Sure. I mean, life was cheap.
Back then, when you got whipped, you didn't get like a little red line on your back. Your back was torn open. The flesh was removed from your skin. And they showed that.
Yeah.
This, you can't really compare that. I'm talking about like as far as like, some action movies now where it's just we're gonna outraid the raid, and it's just like some sort of endless fight sequence where I don't know, maybe the pacing of it is off or the give and take is a bit mismanaged. Mm-hmm. This was beautifully done. Other time, it really is a skill. You have to know how to tell a story in a fight.
Yes.
And
because some people don't know how to do that.
No, because there is the point where you're thinking, okay, the underdog, he's done, but then he has to fight his way into a believable situation where he can win. Mm-hmm. Some sort of event happens. Rama's leg hitting that fluorescent lamp as he gets chucked across the room by Mad Dog. Those things, they matter. Every little thing matters. Mm-hmm. And the time, they gave it enough time where it was just like, it wasn't overdone.
Sure.
Sometimes it's just like, oh, well, let's just keep it going forever. Mm-hmm. And it's... I don't know, you either lose the momentum, you want to keep that momentum and end it at the right spot. But sometimes it's like, oh, to keep it going so long, we're just going to have like little pauses and whatnot. Like I remember when I was watching The Matrix the first time, I hated the fight scenes in The Matrix.
Really?
Because they just kept going into slow motion. Mm-hmm. Like there's this big lobby sequence where they're just shooting guns, the buildings exploding around them, but they're just like doing these like slow motion cartwheels in the air, and it just sort of like took all the energy out of the scene, and then it just looked so stiff.
Really? I didn't feel that, but okay.
To me, it felt stiff. Like there's one where he flips over and he kicks some guy in the face, and he just lands in this like really
weird,
awkward pose, and I don't know. It sort of like took the energy out of it.
Interesting.
The raid, you felt that energy from start to finish.
Yeah, and I think just the shots, even the music. Like the music doesn't even bother me in this film. Sometimes I feel like it would, but it doesn't. And just I loved when they do the overhead shots. There's a sequence with the guys with the machetes, I think, where they're on top and there's two guys fighting Rama.
Yeah, in the middle.
And I love the way that looks and this decrepit setting, kind of.
That building was like another character, just how filthy it was.
Just it should have been torn down. It was like
should have been condemned.
Yeah, it was like maybe one rainstorm from being just rubble.
And like normal people lived there too.
Yeah, well,
like all this craziness. All this craziness, guys. I just want to get to my sick wife.
Yeah.
Like, why do you live here?
Yeah, there's got to be other places. Yeah. I mean, there really isn't much more to say. I'm going to start off the numbers, and I'll go around the table. I'm going to give this a 10 because it is a masterpiece, and it is a masterclass in action filmmaking. People take notes. If you want to see excellent choreography, if you want to see tension, story building, really great characters, check out Raid Redemption. 1 to 10.
I love the hell out of this movie. I never give anything a 10, but I will give this like a 9.99.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You might as well just give it a 10.
I can't.
You got to round it up.
I
Ridiculous.
can't.
Yeah.
You could round it up if you want, but I'll give it a 9.9.
Gigi, what are you going to give this film?
This movie is a perfect 10.
Yes,
There's
absolutely.
no room for improvement.
There really isn't. Nothing could make this better.
Nothing.
Littlest girl, 1 to 10.
8.
An 8. Excellent. All right. Absolutely. If you have Netflix, go on over and check out Gareth Evans' masterclass in storytelling and action fighting, The Raid Redemption from 2011, rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 41 minutes. And that is it from us, and we will come again with another review soon. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.